Hey, over here. Hey, the birth plan has nothing to do with the birth or the plan. Still with me?
My dear friend, where have you been?
Yes, universal sign for dirty hair. Headband. Well, I hope you're still listening. I'm Mandy. I'm the birth nurse and founder of MandyIrby.com. I'm a labor and delivery nurse, Lamaze childbirth educator, peanut ball educator, mother of two, and I'm getting down deep into birth plans. What do you mean they have nothing to do with birth or planning? All right, let me tell you, I was a labor and delivery nurse for 7 or 8 years before I had my first baby. He is now 4. And I thought I knew things. I thought I was ready. I was still terrified. I had seen and helped thousands of women give birth. I knew to be scared, and I felt like I knew a little bit about what to do. And I felt like I was ready as I could be. You know, like, I don't really want to do this, but I have to get my baby out type thing. I loved being pregnant, and I just didn't think any of those things that happen to people would happen to me. I don't know if anyone else feels like that. Tell me if I'm crazy, but I just felt like I would go into labor on my own and I knew what to do. And I really had a great relationship with my physician, and I had a really great relationship with my nurse, who was my friend. And I just felt like I had control over things. Not so much. That birth left me feeling ashamed. I had deep wounds physically, ouch, and emotionally. And I was confused. I had to really process that birth. I was so broken and so hurt by it, and I was shocked. My question then was, am I just gonna have bad births? Am I just that person that has bad births? And how were we gonna complete our family? Because we felt like we wanted 2 children. But after that experience, after my first vaginal birth, I never wanted to do that again. I never wanted any more children. I didn't really want a whole lot to do with my own child, or anything for that matter. It was really bad. It also didn't help that I was struggling with breastfeeding, struggling with sleep because of the breastfeeding, struggling financially at home and with my partner, and everything was just caving in after this horrible birth experience. But I had everything that I wanted. I had no epidural. I had a healthy mom. I had a healthy baby. I was so confused. It took me a long time to process that birth. I talked with my friends and they asked, oh my gosh, what happened to your baby? Well, nothing, my baby's fine. I talked with my coworkers and they asked me, did you get an epidural? I said, well, no. And they said, great, that's what you wanted. But it did not feel like what I wanted. I talked with my family over and over, and they listened over and over, but we weren't getting anywhere with that. I thought, as a nurse, when families got what they wanted, when it looked like they got what they wanted, they could still go home and feel broken. And that really affected me. It really affected me because I thought I was helping people, and I thought that they felt so empowered and so strong and so brave when they went home with that baby after putting in so much energy and being so vulnerable and getting past hurdles and accomplishing having a safe baby. And I realized that I was so wrong. And it hurt as a nurse, and it hurt my heart as a mom. I felt so connected with other mothers in the pain. And it's dramatic. That's so dramatic to say, but it's true. I felt kind of like, I felt mad that I wasn't told that that could happen. And I felt, oh my gosh, all of those people that I sent home thinking that they were warriors and strong parents that can get through anything, and they should feel like that. And they probably didn't. So I knew I had a lot of work to do, and we wanted more people in our family. We didn't feel complete, so I needed to figure it out for myself. And that's what it was about. It was about, I could continue working, but I needed to figure out how to not be broken again. And I needed to really believe that I wasn't broken forever. I did not want or believe that it was okay to have bad births and to just be that person. I just didn't feel like that was the thing, and I didn't want to be that person. So I worked really, really, really hard to take classes. I became a Lamaze instructor, for goodness sakes. Like, I didn't just take the class, I am the class. And that was between my first baby and my second baby. I empowered the nurses that I work with peanut balls to try to find ways that we could help our patients have a louder voice and have more control over their childbirth. And how nurses could have more control over the childbirth, not control, but have an impact and a positive impact to help people have more positive birth experiences. So I became an instructor of two things. I read books that I had put off reading. I talked with my doctor, I talked with anesthesiologists, I talked with nurses, I talked with doulas, I talked with midwives. I had a plan. And the hardest part was really believing that my body wasn't broken and that I could actually accomplish this. Even though I didn't know how assault survivors did it, I needed to do it. I wasn't proving anything to anyone. I was proving to myself that it could be done and I wasn't broken. To prevent postpartum depression, I wanted to connect with this birth and I wanted to have a different experience. Fast forward, I'm in labor and that's a story for a different day, but I get to the hospital, I'm about 7 or 8 centimeters, and before my doctor leaves the room, he says, "Call me when you're ready." I stop him and I'm having a contraction, so I'm like, just hold on for a minute. And I look into his eyes and I say, "Wait, we have a plan. I need you to know this." And he was like, "What? What's happening? What's going on?" And I tell him my whole history. And I tell him my assault history and my re-traumatization and my horrible tear and my horrible repair and my plan. And he's walking out the door and he's like, "Okay, sounds good." And I'm like, "No, you don't hear me. This is my plan." And he says, "You had a baby now though. You probably don't need all of that." And mind you, my plan was postpartum. It was not during labor. I was going to get in the tub and I was going to do the things that felt right to me at the time, which was my plan, I guess. I had not written any of this down. So here I am, almost in transition, trying to explain my plan to my provider. And he is like, "No, you probably don't even need that." And I'm like, "No, you're not hearing me. Hold on." So I had another contraction and I said, "Hold on, you're not hearing me. This is my plan." And I lined out, these are the medications. This is how I want it to go. This is how it can't go. Like, these are the things that can't happen like last time. It can't be like last time. He looked me in the eye. He came through the door, looked me square in the eye while I was not contracting. And he said, "I will help you. I will help you with whatever of that you need. I will do whatever you and your baby need and want me to do to be safe and feel comfortable. I'm here for you," is what he said. I was like, "Okay, I'll call you." And that was all I needed. That was all I needed to know we were on the same page, and I really felt like we were. He then, because he is who he is and we work together, he was like, do you want your nurse to just check you and call me? And is this okay?" And I had to get in his face and look in his eyes and say, "It is 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. or whatever it is. It's the middle of the night. You are my provider. You are my doctor tonight. I will be calling you shortly. We will be having a baby. We're going to do this." And that's what he needed to feel confident that I was then choosing him to take care of me. We were definitely on the same page and we were coming from a different place. Like, not everyone probably does that, but we had a relationship. We were co-workers before I started undressing in front of him and had everything hanging out and was about to get in the water and he checked my cervix. Like, our relationship had just changed and we were able to come to a place in just 2 or 3 minutes. I had 2 contractions, so 3 or 4 minutes. And we came to a place where we were okay moving forward. And that was crucial. Looking back, that was the most crucial moment of my whole birth experience, I think. He acknowledged me in that moment, and he also acknowledged that I had control, and that felt right. It felt good. So I got in the tub, and I think that affected my labor because I could just let go of the what ifs, and I knew that he was going to help me when that time came. So boom, baby was calling him a few minutes later, whatever, 15, 20 minutes later. And he proved his integrity to me again when he came when I called him, screamed, called for him, like pretty much the same thing when you're pushing. So I screamed for him and he was there and he believed me and he sat with me. And I tried to get out of pushing and I tried all of these silly things that I do when it comes time to push a baby out. And he sat with me and he told me he would be there and he was there. And so I reminded him, hey, you told me you would help me. Can you get my baby out? He laughed. But I eventually got the baby out and he did what he said he was going to do, but he didn't do any more. He didn't do anything extra. He didn't touch me in a way that he thought would be helpful. He only did it in a way when I asked and that I asked. And I even tested him and it was funny. We were laughing and he was laughing and my husband was laughing and my photographer was laughing. And it helped me be a real person while pushing and not be somewhere else, which is where my mind really wanted to be at the moment. So it turns out the most important part of my birth plan was not how my birth went or how my plan went, what was on my plan or what happened in my birth. The most important part was control. It was not the only important thing because the planning and the process getting there, I think, was crucial. It's like voting without knowing about the candidate. You have all the power, but it's not very productive. Control was it. It was the most important thing. As a survivor, I know now after learning a little more about how people process birth and go through birth after trauma or traumatic experience, yes, control and warning and time, that is all really important. But I think it's universal. I think everyone wants to feel in control. Everyone wants to have choice and feel like they are participating in their birth, which makes total sense. Makes total sense. To be able to make choices, you need to know your options. To be able to feel in control, you need to have a voice and know what you're saying. You need factual, accurate, non-judgmental, compassionate, not one-sided information about your choices and your options. So how can every family have this empowered, autonomous birth that gives them strength and confidence as new parents? I mean, normal people that don't have a relationship with their physician or get to choose their nurse or work in the place that they're giving birth. How can everyone have this? That's what I'm trying to find out. I think that if I can do it as someone who was completely broken, completely distrusting of the whole process and my body and my ability, anyone can do it. Everyone can do it. And you deserve to. I think that since choice and voice and autonomy and control is a universal desire for families giving birth, the evidence we have and the lessons we've learned about survivors giving birth can be applied to everyone. So in 1 month, 30 days or 29 days, I'm going to Seattle again. Yes. And I'm going to learn from the smartest people I know on this topic. They are in Seattle and they do not travel. So my butt is going back, even though I had that horrible flight home, if you saw my Seattle video. But I'm going back for a 2-day intensive training for providers on this topic. And I'm gonna bring you along, don't worry. So stay with me. If you haven't yet, subscribe, ring that bell so that you're notified when I get back on here. And I post every week. If you haven't already, I forgot to remind you to subscribe. Question of the day, question of the day. This is a no judgment zone. Answer below, what is one of your bottom lines? What is something that you would not give up, you would not sacrifice no matter what, that you would write down or have on your birth wishes or birth choices list? Mine was power and autonomy over my body. Share with us below. I love the conversation down below. I love all the comments and I love the Birth Boldly community that is formed. Thank you so much for opening up to me and sharing a little about yourself. If you want to know more about me or follow me on social media, I'm on Instagram and Facebook at Mandy the Birth Nurse. I will see you there. Damn dog's always barking. I live like right over there The day was so foggy this morning, I just had to do this outside. What do you think? If you like the view, give me a thumbs up. If the dogs were too loud, let me know in the comments and I'll move my location. Abandoned pool, creepy AF. There's a fence here, so I will not cross that fence and walk over there. Creepy.